Hello. Hi. Welcome to another live streaming session with me. My name is Jan, for whoever never know me. I'm doing this live streaming to talk about the aspect of people pleasing. And today it happens to be Halloween. So in my country, Thailand, we are having kind of like a party and hangout tonight, Halloween's, and may my heart be rest in peace for those who have been through the situation that happening in Korea. That's a very tragic things that happens during this time. Okay, so before we get further started, let's me burn some sages so we can hold some spaces first, and maybe we take a couple breaths to tune into the present moment and open your heart to whatever messages that may come today. All right. Close your eyes. Taking a deep breath in. Take a deep breath in. Breathe out. Breathe in whatever positive energy, the feeling of safeness, insecure. And breathe them out. Breathe in as if you are breathing from your foot that's planting on the ground, up to your head. Hold your breath for a moment. 3, 2, 1. Breathe out. Okay. So, tuning into the energy. So, I would like to have a bit of a background of why it has to be a topic about people pleasing. So, in the aspect that I have got a message to share to you all, it's about how we all are interacting in the world. And then the previous live streaming, I mentioned about being authentic. So this is more like an elaboration on from that live streaming we do. Authentically you, be authentically you. So what aspect are you being and who are you in your life? So I do some honor a little bit and pick up a card from the surrender deck, and it says surrender to setting limits. That's very beautiful. So I think it's the main message that the angels want me to share to all of you that comes across this video. So it says it is healthy to set boundaries in relationships. Practice expressing your needs and remember that no is a complete sentence. And at the bottom of the deck, it's surrender to miracles. It also says the dolphins are swimming in the sea with kind of like a Saturn embracing the moon kind of vibe here, if you can see. So it says, be open to miracles occurring in your life. Feel and know that these events are real. Let go of any resistance and banish any doubt that miracles can happen. Sometimes, when we are living life, we say that we living according to our free wills. And we do this because we want to do. Like we do our job. We choose this job because we want to do this job. And sometimes we say we want to go out because I want to go out. A friend asked me and I want to go out. This is just to ask yourself. We are kind of like in a period where things kind of go like, like is that true? Is that what you want? Is that what we want? Is that what I want? So this is a very great time that you start to question yourself on the actions that you are taking. So what kind of actions that you are taking in this moment, and why? So what kind of action? Why are you taking that action? So whenever we encounter, because we are born here, we are born to have a connection, and connection, I mean relationships. It can be with living things, people, or it can be with non-living things as well, because everything has energies stored within it. So when we act or respond to things, so people, according to our fear, sometimes we forget to setting boundaries. So what's boundaries though? When we say yes to the things that we don't want, we say no to the thing that we do want. So what is saying yes? Saying yes to what you want means that you actually have to say no to others, because there are only two options you can do. When maybe your friends ask you, you can either choose I want to or I don't want to. So what is I want to? I want to go. I want to go because I don't want to fail you, or I want to go because I want to hang out and I want to bring myself out there. It's a different thing though. When people ask you, do you want to come with me? And you say, probably I can. I can and I want to is different. So even the small events occurring in your life that you respond a yes to, you have to ask yourself again today, is that a yes, or is that a yes out of what you feel like you want to, or is that a yes because of the fear of the consequences that people may react to your no? So this card is actually comes to tell you that you have to own your no, and you got to have that confidence that your no is the power to saying yes to what you want to do and saying yes to who you are. So we are getting used to saying yes, and we are getting to compromise our needs. I'm sorry, it's about the voice in the back though. So we are getting used to saying yes to others because we fear that we're gonna lose the connection. We fear that we're gonna be like abandoned. We fear of not being loved. We fear of not getting along with people. We fear that we're gonna fail the expectation of you being a nice, friendly, outgoing people. You're like a go-to people where people can come to you and tell you to do things and you do it. So remember one thing, you have a choice, and you always have a choice. You can choose to say yes to whatever you want to. But ask yourself again, are you want to say yes to what you feel like to? Or are you saying yes out of fear? This is a very, very, very powerful message that I want to stress out here for all that comes to hear this conversation. Saying yes to what you don't want is saying no to what you want. And that's the choice that you need to make. The more thing that you keep saying yes to, the more that the universe gonna reorchestrate things similarly to what you're saying yes to. If you keep saying yes to the job that you don't like, similarly, things that you don't like is gonna come into your reality because you're saying yes to those things. But if you say no to those things and you're saying yes to yourself, what you feel good about it, you say yes to what your heart beats, the world is gonna kind of like brings all the things that align with that vibration of yes to the love come into your reality. So you have a choice though. It may seem like sometimes you feel like I have to do it. I have to go. I have to take that job. I have to. I have to. The word have to are actually your ego, and your ego are fearing something. There's no one forcing you to do anything in the world except yourself. And the more that you're saying yes to you, the more that you are saying yes to what you don't want, you are ignoring the part of you, and you are ignoring the chance to discover another part of you. And it could be fear. Sometimes we may think that it's actually we saying yes because we love it. And what about if we just say yes to what we don't love? What's the meaning of it? The meaning of it is here. So it's surrender to miracle. Sometimes we say yes is out of belief that people say yes to that and that life goes so well. Or if I say yes to my parents, my life is going to be great because they told me so. Or if I say yes to the job, I'm going to get my bills paid. Or if I say yes to a friend, they're going to love me. Yes. And no. Yes, you say yes out of fear, and you say yes out of the belief that the yes that you say resonates with what you need. But actually it's kind of like a fear of the miracle that it can happen if you follow your heart and you say no to what you don't want to do actually. So there are miracles that are happening around us all the time. Doesn't depend on the stars, doesn't depend on the astrology and people. It depends on you. It's happening around you. But your action of saying yes and no to things that resonates to what your heart feel. It kind of like you kind of allowing the miracle to step in, or you are the blocking point of the miracle to step in your reality. Miracle is happening in parallel with you. The more you say yes to yourself, miracle is gonna happen. But sometimes you don't believe because people tell you, if you don't say yes to this, you will never blah blah blah. So you kind of forget that you have that miracle that you can experience when you follow your heart. But who else can we believe if not ourselves? But I understand we are taught to believe in what other people say is that good for us. This is so good for you. But that's good for us in their perspective. They are not us. We all have different journey. It's not that they're wrong, but that's good for them. Or that's good for them 30 years ago. But would that apply to you? Otherwise, do you think that we're going to have our textbook rewritten every year or every other years? If it's going to be applied, the knowledge from 100 years ago until today, there's modification and there are things that we need to revise in accordance to the change in the world. So we keep changing. The truth in one space and time could be different in your space and time. And even the reality that we live today, that we perceive that this is right for us, tomorrow is gonna change because you change, people around you change. And if you get stuck with what's true today, you're gonna lose the catch of the changing world. And you don't wanna miss that. Oh, believe in your miracle though. You have all that miracles happening in you. It's just that you are blocking it to happen. You are blocking it to step into your life. Believe in yourself first and kind of like saying yes to yourself first before saying yes to others. Ask yourself, is this a yes for me? If it's a yes for me and it's actually correlated with the yes that you need to answer to others, then it's a yes. But if it's a no for you, that could never be a yes between you and the other person or things. You have a choice too. So in the beginning of the clip I say about Halloween. So this is the really like I think the kind of energy that brings me to life today is people will and we and I sometimes as well. We are wearing masks. And those masks are covering. We think that masks are fancy. We think that we wear masks to be in a situation so we can perform based in that situation. For example, for me, I actually just kind of like got a realization of how I have like many personalities. And I thought that was my strength. I thought having many personality are my strength because that's the adaptability. Like I am one person when I'm with my family. I'm one person when I'm with my close friends. I'm one person when I'm with a colleague, and I'm one person when I'm with my romantic relationship. And I thought that those are adaptability. And oh, that's a great strength to put in my CV. But the fact is, where's me? I did once do an art therapy, and the instructor asked me to write my name. And you know, I have a full name. I mean, like a first name, a nickname, and like a nickname that my friend gave me, not my parents. And I actually write the name that I used to talk to myself. It's like when I write a journal or something that's a name that I use when I talk to myself through journaling. That's not even my born name. So I didn't understand it back then. But then after a while, after I kind of like getting my thought around what's my name, it actually comes to I have so many names, but those are like identities that I created to adapt to the situation, so I perform based, so I get along. I fall to the habit of getting along. And getting along is a good thing if that goes according to my heart, but that's not the case. I actually submit myself to being bullied one time. I didn't think I was bullied. I thought I was getting along, but actually I allow myself to be bullied because I want to get along. And once I step back from it, from the situation into a third person, I ask myself, do you want to be that person? And how do you feel being that person? I didn't feel good. But at that moment, I thought I need to do it. I need to be that person. I need to get along. And actually, I sacrificed being myself to getting along with other people. But coming to this moment, I don't think it's really worth it. Why do I need to getting along when the price to pay is losing myself? So the false mask that we are wearing is like we are going to the Halloween party and we all wearing masks. We are greeting our friends. We don't even know what's under their face. We're saying hi. They laugh. We make bad jokes. They laugh back at me. But actually under that mask, they were like, shit, what are you saying? You're a bitch. It could be something like that under that mask. But the mask say, ha ha, that's so funny. So we don't really know what we are feeling sometimes when we are covering with masks. And people in the society, we are wearing masks. Have you noticed the small talks when you meet people that you are not close to, and you have to like do a small like giggles, like oh yeah yeah, things like that. That's not natural though, right? I know that's not natural for me, and sometimes I still do it as well, like yeah, that's so funny. Yeah. That's another mask too that we did to make them feel like we are a nice person, and we like easygoing. They're gonna ask me to get along with the company next time they go hang out. I have to like yeah. So during this time period though, we all we might still have that habits of wearing masks because we are getting used to it, and sometimes people accept us because they also the false marks of them are accepting the false marks of us. How grateful that is. It's like the false accepting the false. The ego is saying okay to the other ego. We are not really talking from our sense of self, authenticity. Those inner child of you are even not talking. You're talking from your ego. The ego say, okay, let's be professional. What's professional? Being professional sometimes being fake, Being professional, what it is really being professional. I kind of have that question, like professionally fake, maybe. Yep. So during this time, you may feel like some of the action that you used to do, or some of the reaction that you used to express, you might feel awkward, and you may feel like I don't want to do that same reaction or action or accepting the invitation anymore, because those ego part of you are actually they having a crack in your identities, in your false identity. There's a crack. You imagine a vase. A vase is your identity, and the inside of the vase, the flowers, those are your identity, yourself, like your actual identities. And there's a crack in the vase, and the water from the inside start leaking out, and you cannot be that vase. You cannot fit in that vase because the water is leaking out. The vase cannot contain you, so as the false marks or the false identity cannot cover the real you. So the inside of you is starting to reckon that you don't like what you see, and you don't like what you are acting at the expense of losing yourself. So I'm gonna be pulling another card from the As and It Is Given deck, and let's see what kind of like vibration that the cards say that we need to bring into our life to crack the shell of the false identity open, so we can embrace our real self. I think that's a very interesting topic to say in Halloween though, where people are like dressing to be someone else but not ourselves. We kind of like masking ourselves. Okay. The card won't come out easily. I might need to grab the energy a little bit though. Okay. So, let's see. Okay, here it goes. There are two cards that stand out for me. So the first one is the number one. Wow, it's like the starting point of everything. Sorry about the voice though. My voice was pretty like in a low range, so I put my gain up and it now's picking up everything in my direction. Okay, so let me fix it here a bit. Okay. If anyone will come here, please kindly let me know if my voice is too low in the comments, so next time I can adjust my microphone. So it says, I will love where I am right now. And there's nothing that you cannot be, do, or have, and we want to assist you in achieving that. But we love where you are right now. Even if you do not, because we understand how joyful the journey to where you want to go will be. It says the very starting point, which the card is number one. You see, I was referring to the waves and the water cracking out. The card resembled in a symbolic of birds, and that's the cage. So this little bird, it's you, it's all of us. We are getting stuck in the cage, and each of the cage, each of the rails here are false identity. Every time we crack each line open, we see more of ourselves. And that's the thing. We see more of it. And at one point you will start to not being able to tolerate not being yourself, because you don't feel joy in it. You don't feel joy in your action. So it starts with loving who you are. And besides the card that we say that we're not believing in our miracle here, it's also about we don't believe in our power in creating, in being like a creative life force that creating things in the world. We listen to others on how they are achieving their life, and we want to do according to their roadmap to succeed just the way that they are. But don't you think that we have our own path to success in our own way, which others may be guiding us, but they cannot just tell us the exact way, because it's our heart that knows one and only. It's our heart that feels what's right. And the more that you start loving yourself and be okay with where you are right now, you're gonna start following your heart, and your heart is gonna lead you step by step out of what you know, out of what is not in alignment with you, and to more of the yes to your heart. So very loving card, loving yourself at where you are right now. And also the second card is I am standing on the leading edge of thoughts. It won't focus here. Well, I will read it out to you though. It say, just as all of your experiences from the time of your birth into your physical body until now have culminated into who you are. All that has ever been experienced by all that is has culminated into all that is now being experienced in the physical life experience on planet Earth. So it says that all the thing that you experience is giving birth to another experience. So as I said before, the more that you're saying yes to something, the universe might not know what you think or feel, but you are saying yes to that. Maybe you want more of that. So ask yourself, what kind of experience, what kind of feeling attached to that experience that you would like to invite into your reality, and saying more yes to that kind of emotion, saying more yes to that kind of experience, saying more yes to that kind of invitation, and take the no to all that is not in the same frequency as you. It's a practice, and also it's a discipline, Our mind are fixated sometimes, and they only know like you go from this direction, you're gonna get to these consequences. But in reality, you go from this direction, you may experience like millions ways of possibility. Like Dr. Strange say, we have like multiple millions options when we do one things. Right? But we are thought, we are culminated, and people from our early childhood experiences kind of plant seeds in our mind, in our mindset, in our consciousness. That seeds that kind of like makes us believe that we have to be certain things to success. We have to be certain ways to be accepted. We have to act certain way to be approved. And that's the beginning of people pleasing. And that's the beginning of ignoring your guts, ignoring your intuition, and follow what others have to say. Because you believe others more than yourself, you give away your power. Instead of believing yourself, you giving back the choice of saying yes or no to them, because you fear something out of them. They might not create that fear, but you create that logic of fear with them. You kind of have that attachment of fear to specific type of situation. Like I say, if I don't go to this party, people may think I'm not an easygoing person. I might not get invited next time, and that possibly I might not have a friend, and people like they might gonna tell that I'm a loser, and where am I in the society? So from not going to one party could lead to ends of like no friends and connection in life at all. But ask yourself again, is that true? If you are not going to one party, and that friends are not going to be in your life just because of not going to that party, they are not your friends. Doesn't mean they're not good or bad, but they are not your friends. So be with the people who respect your boundaries. When you understand and you respect your boundaries, you care less about what other people think about you or approve of you. But you are gonna respect yourself for saying every no. Respect yourself for saying every no. Take that in for a moment. Respect yourself for saying no. And embrace every yes of your heart. I I think I need to ground my energy a bit though. It's a little heavy here, and I know the false marks are falling off quite quickly, and sometimes we are not prepared for it. I mean, mentally not prepared, but our hearts are ready to face it. But we just have to believe in the miracle that we are a miracle. Let's take a deep breath with me for a bit, like we're taking a break. Okay. All right. So let's get to another card. What they have to say about the card about the stars. You know, I'm so glad to be here today. And yeah, I'm so glad to be here. So, whoa. Let's see what cards come out for you all. And again, I apologize for all the noise that might be too loud or too low. You can comment me, so I will adjust next time. Okay. So, there are two cards coming out here, which are the 7 Star Sisters. I'm not sure if the camera is gonna catch the images. So these are the images of the Star Sister dancing, expressing their way in a different motions. I'm not sure if they are even dancing along with the same music of the universe, but it feels to me like they are dancing in their own rhythm, but they just happen to be in the same place. So it's a celebration of birth, and it's actually a tapestry of life and expression. So we are born here so beautifully to be dancing on our own rhythms and not caring about how others dancing to their own life. We are here to please ourselves and dance to our own music and rhythm and to our own pace as well. And to that, we express who we are. We don't care about how weird or how like awkwardness is gonna look when we dance. We just do. Think of when you kind of like in your room and you dance in your own music and you dance so weirdly that after you dance you laugh at yourself in the mirror like, what the fuck am I doing? But that's so fun, right? It's the joy of like dancing in your room with weird motions and that's kind of thing. But take that kind of perspective out into your life as well. Dancing to your own rhythm. Not actual dancing, but acting, reacting, and how you live, how you choose your life. Be on your own melody, not follow other melodies, because that's not you. That's not gonna sing to your heart. You only sing along with your own melody. The next card is Earth Pausing. I think this is a very pretty card though. There's like flower beds in the sea and there's like waterfalls like giving the energy from above to below. So the cards say it's the pulse of the Mother Earth. Slow down time in nature. Oh, I just see that there's a woman lying here. Sorry. I thought it was the sea. It's actually a woman. You see it? It's a woman. So it's representing that we are kind of like go back to the Mother Earth and we kind of go back to the nature. There are a sentence that really, really hits me. I cannot remember where am I getting this message from, but he or she says, be like a flower, be like a nature. Flower blooms in their own temperature. Like you're not gonna expecting tulips to be like bloomed in like humid and like hot weather like Thailand, right? But it's gonna be bloomings in their own temperature, in their own time, and actually their own season. Hi, สวัสดีค่ะ So be like a flower and be like the nature where they actually have their own time and pace and they actually not following what others are doing. When you go to travel, you kind of imagine, like if you want to go to Japan, for example, are you expecting to go and see the same thing that happening in your country there? I mean, like nature-wise. You're gonna be expecting to see like sakura, for example, because they bloom in their season, and you go to Japan in that season. You're not going there in the winter expecting to see sakura blooming, because nature have its own time, and also you have its own time. You have your own time. So be like the nature, having your time and space, and you follow that. You don't follow the other person's melody to dancing to your own life. Okay. The next one is from the Reiki deck. Let's see what it has to say. You know, whoever give me like the synonyms about blooming like a flower, they're really beautiful though. I think the cards here have some things that I would like to share to you. It's actually the same cards that appears like last time that I do streaming. So there are two cards from the Reiki decks. It's the Anger Knot and the Energy Exchange. So the Energy Exchange here is kind of like a representative of what's the energy that you express when you interact with others. So when you exchange the energy with the other person that's actually not aligned with your intention or not aligned with your intuition, you're gonna get the fake energy kind of resonates back to you. So energy are always exchanging with things, people, living or not living things. So your energy kind of also tells who you are and what you are attracting into your reality. So this is just to let you know to be aware. To be aware of what type of energy you are expressing. And the more that you be true to yourself, the more that you say yes to your heart, your energy is gonna shift. And the shift in the energy is gonna keep bringing more and more of what's yes to your heart, because the universe already know that this is the one that you're saying yes to. So having a choice again about saying yes or no to things, very important to listen to your heart, no matter what other people say, or if they are skeptical about the direction that you are taking. You have to disregard their opinions and listen to your heart. And the Anger Knot. The Anger Knot is telling not to get mad of ourselves and also learn to express our anger. Sometimes, you know, when we are kind of suppress our needs and our intention and our intuition, there are a bit or a slice of madness that happening inside of us. We might not want to go to the party, but we go. And then when we were at the party, we were like, I should have been here. I should be living home. I should be at home. I should be watching movie on my couch. Oh, there's some kind of like resentment and anger occurring in our body. And we kind of like suppress it with like, oh, but I should be here. It's fun. People are here. I'm invited somehow. So Anger Knot is to let you know that first, it's okay to be mad, because the sign of mad, anger, or like kind of the spectrum that we perceive as negative emotion are actually a point and a signal that kind of guide us to know that this is not the things that in alignment with who you are at that moment. You might actually want to say no. So next time when you feel like it, you say no. So you don't need to have this feeling. But it's okay sometimes we make things that not alive because our ego kind of get the better of us. So when we say yes to something that we don't want and we have this kind of emotion in our body, allow it to be. Say to yourself, I allow myself to be mad, to be angry in my body. Allow it. Allow the energy to be in your body. Allow yourself to hear your inner child in your body. Allow yourself to be there for the energy of resentment of yourself in your body. Because no one's gonna be here for you except you. But ignoring it or suppressing your resentment, shame, guilt, or anger towards yourself is not gonna, like, you're not burying the grave. You just hide it, and someday it's gonna show up, and it's gonna be like zombie. It's gonna be harder to suppress. So whenever you feel it, tell yourself, or whenever you feel mad, this is gonna be an extreme example, but I would like to give a clear perspective of how you can be angry and be okay with that energy. Let's say your parents want you to do something, want you to be something, like study or major in your college, and you don't want to. You know you want to study, let's say, art, but your parents want you to do science. They believe that art is gonna lead to instability in your career, while science is gonna make more money and you're gonna be safe and secure. In that perspective, could be 30 years ago. So you actually say yes. Oh, you actually say no because you want to study art, and your parents are mad at you, and they won't talk to you for a month maybe, and you have all that kind of energy in your body, like I don't understand. I don't like why my mother is saying that things to me. I don't like how my dad is treating me. I don't like how they ignoring my needs. You are mad, fucking mad sometimes, and you also mad at yourself, actually feeling more like guilty and shame of yourself for rejecting your parents' needs. So you also have madness and guilt within the situation. So in a way, we allow ourselves to feel when similar situation like this, or maybe entirely different, there's a need for us to allow things just to be, because we are human. We can get mad at anyone, and parents are human too. They get mad at us, we get mad at them. That's normal. We have to normalize things. We have to understand that this is normal to get mad at someone, even if they are your parents, or they are your closest friends, or they are your romantic relationships, or they are your boss. You can get mad at everyone. But the point is, you have to let yourself be mad. Sometimes I say to myself, I allow myself to be mad at my mom. And I allow myself to be with the feeling of rejecting her. And I allow myself to be angry at her. I understand and I see that my inner child were super mad for not getting the respect that they need, that she or I need, the younger version of me needs. So allow that to be, see that energy, be with the energy, be with the emotion, be with the feeling, not suppressing it. Oh, ignore the logic. Ignore the logic of being respectful. Ignore the logic of being dutiful. Ignore the logic of being a good daughter, a good son, a good friend, a good girlfriend, a good boyfriend. Ignoring the fact that that's the culture that shapes us to believe that we need to be a good blah blah to be good. But then why God create things like mad and angers anyway, shame and guilt? And why the expression that we accept ourselves to behave or feel is only the good one, while the bad ones are also part of us? Just remember that we are all human and feelings and emotion are natural. They're just an indicator of what is and isn't in alignment with who you are at the moment. So the more that you listen to your intuition, your feelings, the more that you understand why you react certain things, and you respect yourself more to saying no to whatever doesn't resonate with you. Okay, so another card, and I think it's about the one before the last, is the wisdom of the hidden realms. So I saved this for the last for no reason. Okay, so people pleasing has been normalized in the society for many years. And once you kind of get the awareness of why am I doing these things, and if that comes from the expectation that you think others have of you, ask yourself again, is that the expectation come from your fear, or is that really come from them? Most of the time you will discover within yourself that it comes from you. It comes from the fear of not being loved or somehow. Others, they are teachers, but the one that in this lesson, in this journey, is you. And we all have pains and traumas to grow and to learn from. But people pleasing are one of the aspects that we human kind of created as a protective strategy to the pain that we don't want to feel. If we don't want to feel the pain that sometimes in our younger, in the young like age, in our childhood, when we feel like we get rejected from our parents, so we don't want to feel that rejection. We don't want to feel the sadness of being rejected. So we learn to cope with this sadness, with this fear, with people pleasing. We please other people because we don't want to feel that pain of abandonment ever again, which is normal. But we have to kind of like being aware of the pattern within ourselves when we react to things. There are patterns, always patterns. So what patterns are you holding in this very moment? If you're observing the pattern that you are reacting to things, you will see the correlation, and you are kind of like mapping, like connecting the dot, like what kind of experiences are you bringing more and more into your life based on your pattern. So the cards say is kind of like giving us an affirmation here. So this one is saying the Shadow Queen. She's kind of like bringing the light in the shadow of the foggy forest. So the foggy forests here are like the false masks that we are wearing. And this false mask with the light, and that light comes from our intuition actually. They kind of guide us through the foggy forest where we actually don't know where we're going. Actually, if you use your intuition and your feeling, you will know where to go. But besides that, we have to lower down the volume of the outer world and listen more to the inner world that we are. If you see here, her eyes are covered with the hoodies because the eye see what it wants to see. It see with perception. It's like, you never know if my shirts are green or it's actually red or blue because we were told that this color, this spectrum is green. So when we cover our eyes, it's like in our meditation, we feel things more, and we see things that are not in like the material world. And the intuition, gut feeling, and the heart kind of guiding us the way, even though we don't see things with our own eyes, with our mental capability of understanding things. We feel things, and that can be a guidance to what's next. And it doesn't have to be like everything now and today. It can be knowing the next step, like a very small next step. The other card is the Ego King. He comes with telling message about the bigger picture. The bigger picture, like I say, when we are reacting to circumstances and events and things, there are patterns that link together. If you kind of step back into a third person and looking at how you react to people, you can do this by kind of thinking about the moment that you are really mad at someone, that it stuck in your heart. Like, I don't want to meet this kind of people again. Think about what other types of experiences that bring similar feeling and emotion within you. And you'll see how you react to it. And you'll see taking back and further into your childhood. You might discover the beginning of the feeling and the coping strategy to this fear. So it's the bigger picture that we are starting to see where this people-pleasing behavior come from. And do we want to continue with this coping mechanism, or are we want to shift to a more heart leading guidance kind of way? And that's your choice as well. People pleasing is one choice, and follow your heart is another choice. You always have a choice. Even when you think you don't have a choice, you always have a choice always. Okay, last one. It's a bit of a affirmation about how to love yourself. So I'm gonna pull out just one here, unless more feels like coming out. Too much coming out. Okay. Whoa. This is funny. So it says, with affirmation, I claim my inner power. The back of the card says, no matter what I choose to believe or say, the universe always say yes to me. Therefore, I choose only positive thoughts and words. It's actually resonate with the one that I say, saying yes to your heart and saying no to what doesn't resonate with your heart. And in this, it says saying positive thoughts and words that come from your heart. If your heart's telling you yes, then you're saying yes, and the universe is gonna bring that yes, many of that yes to your reality. But when you say yes to the thing that you don't want, they also bring more of the yes of what you don't want into your reality as well. So this is a choice as well. Think about how we want to run away from specific type of people. I want to run away from Mr. A, and you keep missing Mr. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Different name, different family, similar feeling he gave you. So we are running from things to things. If we don't clear up our pattern of belief system, we're going to keep attracting the same things into our life. So the last message before we ending this live streaming would be to respect your no. This is very, very, very like underlying messages that the angel wants to tell you. So respect your no. Respect saying no because you can. And follow your heart and say yes to only what it calls to you. You are here in this earth to please yourself, not others, unless that's your choice. Unless. You always have a choice. Always, always. Okay, so before we end this, let's take a couple breaths and then we can go off and rest maybe. Okay. Okay. So thanks so much for coming to join the conversation with me. So if you like this kind of content, click like or subscribe and put on the notification bell so next time that we have this streaming session, maybe you can join the conversation. And again, I'm having a little bit of issue with the microphone, so if any comments on the loud or the quietness of my voice, you can comment and I can adjust on my next live streaming. Anyway, until then, goodbye and enjoy your life.